Yo, can everybody hear me? Let's see if my mic is working. Just comment in the chat if my audio volumes and everything is okay. Shout out to Not Top Goon. We got him in the house. I'm just doing a little check just to make sure everything is good. Silly, hello, 2 hours to Ramen Toys. What's up to Ramen Toys? He's in the house. We'll tune in from the factory, but likely unable to type and participate. Don't worry about it, man. I appreciate that you're watching, man. Thank you. Shout out to Hal Jordan. We got quite a few people in the house. Okay, my man Scott Hughes said the mic is good. I trust Scott. Jester is in the house. What's up, man? We got quite a few people in the house to just chill tonight. Robert's Infinite Realms, man. Yo, Ninja, have a good stream. I'll catch you on a replay. I collect because I love certain IPs for the lack of a better term. Gotta get up early. Have a good one. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Catch that replay, man. I wanna do a stream where I talk about your video because that shit was hilarious, man. Rollkeeper is in the house. Shout out to you, man. I got to meet him in person. He was such a chill guy. We got V Conley in the house. Hey, with the cut, yo, that head sculpt looks like you, man. I know what you look like. That's a good ass head sculpt. That looks like you. Gabriel, what's up, man? Hopefully I get to meet you soon. We got Pinto in the house. Thicky Tom. Yeah, you already know, bro. Artificial Intelligence, what's up? Thank you for being here. Greg Finstead. It's Ninja Tom. You guys already know, man. Roman Graham, what's up, Ninja? From Colombia. Says, okay. Yeah, man. I'm glad we get people from, like, everywhere. All parts of America, all parts of the world in general. Scott Hughes. We got RG in the house too. I see RG's name. 78 points of articulation. What's up, man? We got quite a few people here. Blake Tarpley, of course, getting all zen up. He got to come with the jokes all the time. We got the white potato himself, the epic countdown. Bro, I try. I try to be as good as you, but I might have an epic countdown, but like, you're just epic in general because you're the white potato. Oh, man. Vic Swirl. Vic Swirl is in the house. What's up, bro? What is good? Glenn Shaw, what's up, collectors? Brought up both my bros back to back on the thing. Vic Swirl and Glenn Shaw, man. Gary Navoa, Ninja, YouTuber God, love the vids, keep it up. Thank you. Thank you. That's 3 bros that got brought up back to back. Thank you, man. I appreciate you so much. So much. Thank you. Hello from the Philippines. Shout out to Silly tuning in from I like your picture too. That's a dope diorama with Kid Buu. The Kid Buu poster is up there. What is good, everybody, man? So many people. I love when you guys show out. What's up to Mark Rose? What's up? This chat is already moving pretty fast. I'm gonna try to keep up, but you know, I can't make, you know, promises because it moves pretty fast. What is this man talking about? Oh man. So tonight's topic is just gonna be about collecting. I'm gonna explain to you guys why I collect, and I would like to hear why some of you guys collect. But just a heads up, before we even get into the topic, I am going live on Articulated Chad's channel. I'm going Wednesday. We're gonna have a one-on-one fight on his channel, and we're gonna argue about what scale is better. 6-inch scale, 3-inch scale. I believe it's like 112 scale, 118 scale, whatever is the scale that he collects. We're gonna have a heated debate about it on his channel. So I would appreciate if I had some articulated ninja people over there, because they're probably gonna jump the shit out of me, because it's gonna be all his people. But I would appreciate it if I had some people over there to help me, because we're going live and it's gonna be 112 scale versus 118 scale on Articulated Tad's channel. Hopefully one of the moderators can drop a link in the chat, and I'll make sure I put the link in the description to this live for you guys to check that out on Wednesday. It is Wednesday the 22nd. I believe that's like Thanksgiving Eve. So I'll be going live over there. And next up, something else that I do want to bring up. I'm not a fan. Like, and I've said it before, I'm so selective. I'm not a fan of Mythic Legions doing the whole cosmic stuff, right? If let's say they dropped, I don't know, 15 figures, I literally only like 3. I only like 3 figures out of the 15th. I like when Mythic Legion sticks to like Vikings and Knights and, you know, stuff like that. I'm not really a fan of them being in space. But out of the entire cosmic selection, there's only like 2 or 3 figures that I like. And I recently got one in from the most deadly convention Nerf gun shooters of all time. Of course, I got mine in from... So I like to test those guys from time to time. I like to get something from them because they talk about how they ship fast all the time. And I'm like, nah, they're going to mess up and take like 2, 3, 4 days one time. And then I'm going to be able to complain about them. But no, as usual, they ship out super fast. And this was the guy that I got. Let me put the light up. I cannot wait to open this guy. This was one of the very few Cosmic Legions that I actually wanted, that I actually liked. So shout out to Hella Dope Toys, man. I appreciate those guys. They ship out super fast, and I'm never gonna advertise some action figure or a company to you guys. I'm not getting paid for this shit, but I'm always happy with the service that I get from them. So I just wanted to say shout out to them real fast. And let's get into the video. Well, the video topic, which is, like I said, it's just why I collect. I did take I have some short little skits and stuff to play, just to bring back nostalgia and feelings, because this month is Men's Health Awareness Month, or let's just say suicide awareness, especially for men. So I'm like, I just want to talk about what, like, positive shit, like why we collect, what got us into collecting, just in general. And I just, you know, I just want it to be positive. And I feel like when we think about why a lot of us collect, it can, most of the time, it should stem from like positive things, especially when we were kids. Let me just check something real fast. Sheesh, man, this chat is moving. So we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna pull up random comments. Every single super chat will get addressed, and then also all of my private members, all of the channel members, please stick around for the after show because we're gonna do a giveaway of my favorite classified villain to be released in a line so far. We're gonna give away Major Blood and 2 troopers. I'm an army building channel, right? I feel bad if I just give away 1 trooper. So we're gonna give away Major Blood and 2 troopers to all of my channel members. And I should be hitting 20K soon. And when I hit 20K, we're gonna go live again, and I'm gonna do 2 giveaways. I'm gonna do one for subscribers and then another one again for all of my channel members. Link will be in the description if you want to join the channel. Hopefully one of the moderators could put the link if you want to join the channel. But channel members, please stay because we're doing a giveaway. And I'm excited for someone to get 3 of these figures because Major Blood was easily, hands down, one of my favorite, or if not the best, classified villain that they ever released. Even today, I remember that year, he wound up in a lot of people's top 3, if not number 1 for the classified line. So I really like that Major Blood. So of course I got multiple. And like I said, I'm an army building channel. I feel bad giving away 1 trooper, 1 Cobra infantry. So we're going to do 2 to go with Major Blood. So stay for that private video. All of my channel members. Let's start the topic. Let me explain real quick to you guys why I like to collect, or what got me started into collecting. And most importantly, what keeps me into collecting with how horrible and shitty distribution and prices are sometimes. Like, what keeps me here? What keeps us collecting, even though at times we complain or we criticize, or in most cases we just want things to be better. We want the lines, we want these figures that we love so much, these IPs that we love so much, we want them to be better. I feel like everyone's reasons are different, but at the same time they're similar for why we collect. And for me as a kid, that's when most of us don't have to worry about bills, medical expenses, taking care of others. It was just simpler times, right? And Saturday morning cartoons, hopefully you had some type of snack or a juice box, a juicy juice or some shit, or Lunchables, whatever you was fortunate enough to have. It just made Saturday cartoons even better. But collecting for me brings me back to like those days. So now, even as an adult, when I pose an action figure, just looking at it makes a lot of the things that I'm worried about or stressed about, it makes those things just like leave my mind momentarily. Not permanently, because we're adults, so we can't like escape for too long, but momentarily it helps me escape. So collecting for me is a form of escapism from like the harsh realities that most of us as adults have to deal with in our everyday life. I'm doing a keep it real video. I'll be dropping that soon where I'm talking about something similar. And I feel like even though there's a bunch of things we could be doing as collectors as like forms of escapism, but I feel like this hobby is nowhere near as bad. This is nowhere near as bad as some of the other things that I see people participate in for some escapism from like their reality. And I was lucky enough to be one of the kids growing up in the projects who had some action figures and Pokemon cards. And even as a kid, I gave a lot of my stuff away because I knew that my situation wasn't everybody's situation, especially living where I lived. I felt bad. Like if I was that kid on the playground with 2 or 3 of the newest Power Rangers. You guys remember the Power Rangers that you used to press the belt and the head used to flip? I felt bad being that kid on a playground and I had 2 or 3 different colors, obviously. We couldn't afford to army build when I was a kid. I don't think none of us really army built like that. But I felt bad when a kid would walk up and he wouldn't have any. So there was times I gave a lot away knowing like, hey, I can ask and the worst that I'm going to be told is no. But my mom has a big heart. So if she found out that I gave it to a kid that didn't have one, a lot of the times she would buy it again for me, which is just like such a blessing. But I did give a lot of stuff away just because, like I said, growing up where I grew up, I knew that not everybody's situation was the same as mine. But it made me happy to have action figures, but it also made my mom and my grandparents happy that half the time I was in the house. Because if you're not in the house, growing up where I grew up, you're in the streets. And a lot of shit was still happening in the streets, even to kids that were in the wrong place at the wrong time, crossing the street at the wrong time, at the corner store at the wrong time. And I've been one of those kids, unfortunately, to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Totally other stories. We'll get into that eventually. But Let's see what's going on. Let me just take a break real fast and see what's going on with the chat. Let's see. Okay. How Jordan says, I collect because I'm a single adult. I'm a single adult. I wasn't expecting that ending. That was clever, man. I don't even feel bad for you because obviously you're sarcastic and you're clever. You'll be all right. Like that was definitely clever. Um, We got laser plants. I collect because I'm trying to fill an unfillable void left by a horrible childhood, and I'm also financially irresponsible. Yo, I don't know. This guy's just talking shit. I don't know if you guys seen the video where he's actually talking to his mom on the phone. It does not sound like he had a horrible childhood. It sounds like he got disciplined when he was a bad potato. That's what it sounds like. It don't believe that. That video for his channel members, if you're a 3PO channel member, just check that video. He has an entire conversation on the phone with his mom. That shit is hilarious, man. And then of course, Blake Tarpley with a $50 super chat. Doing this early so you don't have to yell at me for doing it during the members only. Happy holidays. Yo, Blake, thank you. Thank you so much, especially during the holidays. Everything helps. I don't care whether it's 2, 5, let alone 50 damn dollars. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you being a Ninja Clan member and always, showing up to try to show love. I appreciate that shit a lot. Even though you are sarcastic and we do got to fight when we meet up in person at some point. But thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. Um, and then his question is, Articulated Ninjas, what's the next show / con? Anything on the horizon? The next convention I'm going to be at is actually this weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. I believe it's in Massachusetts. I got the name of it somewhere, but I might not be able to find it in time. I think it's the Massachusetts Northeast Comic-Con and Collectibles Extravaganza. I think that's what it's called. And it is November 24th to the 26th. I'll be there with Valorverse. So if you are a channel member, try to show up, man. Try to come out just to talk so I could thank you in person for being a channel member or just a fan of my videos or Valorverse figures. And that show is usually really chill and relax. So I'm not like running around and trying to do 1,000 things at once. That show is usually really good. It stays consistently busy. So it's just not like big rushes 24/7. That show is usually good. But Blake, that's my next one. That's the next show that I'll be at. And real quick, you already know when we get new channel members, Biff Jocko has become a channel member. Just popping in to say hello. Member for 2 months. Popping in to say hello. Have to catch the replay. Man, I appreciate you, man. Catch the replay. Thanks for hopping in when you can. I know everybody's busy. And here is a new member. Revenus Collecting became a YouTube member. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. If you can, try to stay for the private show afterwards because I'm going to do that giveaway, which now you will be entered in as well. Every channel member is entered in the giveaway. My bad, guys. It's been a long day. And then we have, oh man, we have I got to get like a whole Stone Cold intro for this guy. We got Bobby Valor in the house just showing some love. See you Friday. Yes, you will, man. I cannot wait. We always turn up and have a really good time, especially at that convention. I cannot wait, man. Shout out to Bobby Valor. And then we got Laser Pants with a 10. Why is he trying to spoil me now? Look at Bobby acting poor. See, I knew there was a reason. I knew there was going to be a sarcastic ass reason. I'm like, why he doing $10 just to show up Bobby? Of course. That's what he does, especially in person. He gotta show out. He gotta try to beat Valor all the time. Sure, of course. Laser Pants got to be the best at everything. Of course. Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. We're going to save other super chats. I want to get in to the topic real quick. And I just want to talk a little bit more about what collecting is for me, what it meant for me growing up. Let's see. Give me 1 second. So, I'm I'm just gonna wing it. I had some notes, but notes don't even matter as long as you're being genuine. And I'm talking to my people right here anyway, so I'm not even worried about it. But collecting for me is like that fresh new plastic smell when you open up an action figure. Like I was the kid, I was the little crackhead kid that liked to smell my action figures. I don't know, comment in the chat if you do, but there's just something about that fresh factory plastic smell when you break open a brand new action figure. And I remember multiple times, especially when Toy Biz had the Marvel Legends license. I don't know if it was because they had that whole clamshell, but their smell the craziest. Collecting for me is that new plastic action figure smell. I loved it. Collecting for me is like is when I was a kid walking into a toy store like Toys R Us, knowing this place just had aisles and aisles of toys and action figures for me to look at. And hopefully I was going to get one, whether I was going with my mom, my grandparents, my father, my uncle. I was like, I have to figure out what's going to be the purchase of the day because we're kids. Like, we don't know when we're going to get another chance. We're not driving. We're not doing none of that shit. All we're focused on is that one action figure. And there was a Toys R Us commercial. Let me see if I could find it real fast. But there was a Toys R Us commercial that made me sad. And I was like 6 or 7. But it was a Toys R Us commercial that was supposed to show like Toys R Us kids actually do grow up. And I remember the ending of the commercial had it had Jeffrey, which is the giraffe, the mascot, sitting on a bench with an adult, and it showed like the adult turned back into a kid because it was, I don't know, it was weird. It was kind of like Jeffrey was saying bye because we were no longer kids, but that shit made me so sad. Let me see if I could find it. I don't care if I get demonetized or anything. I'm not worried about that. I just want to have a good time with you guys. Let's see. I think this is it. Check this out real fast, guys. This was the commercial that I'm talking about.
I don't wanna grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. I don't wanna grow up,
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
they got the best for so much less.
You'll really flip your lid.
Some bikes too, trains too, video games.
It's the biggest toy store there is. Gee whiz!
I don't wanna grow up, 'cause baby, if I did,
I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid. Once a Toys R Us kid?
always a Toys R Us kid.
Yo, why they had to do that? Why they had to end it with like them sitting on a bench, like he's saying goodbye and shit? They got the sunset in front of them. That shit was mad sad. I remembered that as a kid being like burned into my mind. And when I seen that commercial, I was automatically like, oh yeah, I'm always gonna be a Toys R Us kid. Like I'm always gonna be, which as I got older, it transitioned to I'm always gonna be an action figure collector. I don't care who I'm dating. I don't care, you know, who wants to shame me for it. Friends in college, I brought action figures to my college dorm. Like, so that was funny because I'm pretty sure I was the only kid in my entire building that had a few action figures just on shelves in the dorm. Like, I always tried to make it look nice. I always tried to make it look mature. But that commercial made me say to myself, even as a kid, like, oh yeah, I'm always gonna chill with Jeffrey. I'm always gonna be cool with Jeffrey in my heart. But that was collecting for me. And there was a Toys R Us on Northern Boulevard in Astoria, Queens, that I used to go to a lot. But then they also had a KB Toys on Steinway. And KB Toys, at least this one, was known for having like the craziest damn sales. Comment below if you've ever been to KB Toys at any point in your life, or if you ever made it out on one of, they would have like 3-day sales, like weekend sales. They would have like bins of Power Rangers and just action figures for like $2, and things that were originally $5 or closer to $10, it would go down to like $1 or $2. So those KB Toy sales, they were crazy. And I remember KB Toys commercials. Specifically, I remember this one because of the G.I. Joe stuff that was in the commercial.
The place to find a KB Toy store is at your local shopping mall, where you'll find great toys like Hasbro's G.I. Joe Mobile Strike Force, the Joes with the most advanced equipment.
At the Westridge Mall.
Yo, that one at the end, you guys seen, there was a Hiss tank there, and it looked like a dragonfly, which is so funny now that that's the first two HasLabs that we're now going to be getting in. But KB Toys, man, I would try to rush in there and look through those bins for $3.99 to $5.99 and just try to get stuff. And like, it was just all good memories. And like I said, as adults, we use a lot of things as escapisms. I don't want to use alcohol. I try not to use certain things that I know there could be some negative side effects to. The negative side effect to this shit is your wallet. This this may actually hurt your wallet, but you always gonna have some type of resale value. So you'll always be able to recoup something back, assuming you're not destroying your action figures or your collectibles. You're always gonna have some type of resale value. And I'd rather do this than have escapism, going to strip clubs or doing some shit like that on the weekends. Unless I'm going with laser pants, then I'm 100% down. But I choose collecting over a lot of other vices that are out there, basically. But then collecting for me was also like being in the corner of my room or the living room or the steps, not talking to no one, like not bothering no one and just interacting with my action figures. That was also collecting for me too. So it wasn't just it's not like I got to go to the toy stores often, but it was always a memory when I did go to those toy stores. Like, I liked playing with my action figures on steps when I was a kid because it was like the steps in my mind. Let me know if anybody in the chat used to play on steps or anything like that when they were a kid too. But in my mind, the steps were like risers. It was like a diorama. So in my mind, the steps had different levels, and every area, like every new step, had a different main battle. Picture like Mortal Kombat, how when you're in the arcade mode, you have to go up. So every step had another action figure waiting for like my hero action figure to fight. I just love playing on the steps. I regret it now as an adult because I just wake up some mornings and my back be hurting and my legs be hurting. I'm at that age now where like I just hurt for no reason, but there's a reason because I was choosing to play on steps as a kid instead of just sitting on the ground at a table. No, my dumb ass was on the steps. So I'm sure that there's a reason for that. I think another big part for me personally, we're about to get to some comments and super chats, but the last thing I want to talk about is it was the commercials, action figure commercials on TV, especially around the holiday times. Like right now, they were epic. Them shits had like kids' hands bashing through like dioramas and walls and light up and sound effects. It's like, I think the budgets back then for commercials were huge. They had to be, because some of the commercials, some of the props and everything that they had in these action figure, just these regular toy commercials, there were some crazy ass commercials. I remember Gargoyles because I grew up during the Gargoyles time, and Gargoyles was just such a dark and gritty TV show. It was competing at the time with like Batman the Animated Series, which was another dark and gritty TV show. So that was like Disney's answer to Batman the Animated Series. It was Gargoyles. But I remember their commercials. Their commercials was good, guys. Like it brought a bunch of feelings to watch these kids having so much damn fun playing with these things. Look, just check this out real fast.
Night falls. New adventure calls. We are Gargoyles. Wings blast against the night. We are Gargoyles, and we've just begun the fight. Hunted by evil Macbeth, he'll hunt us till our final breath. Gargoyles quake, Gargoyles awake. Fighting Bronx comes alive. Power-winged Goliath makes a power dive. And mighty roar Goliath, eyes ablaze, screams his rage. We are Gargoyles. When Gargoyles come alive, evil can't survive. Gargoyles. Figures in playset each sold separately. Batteries not included.
Yo, it's so corny. It's so corny looking back at it now. It is so corny. But at the time, it was the greatest thing ever. Like, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And now it makes me happy. I literally get on YouTube sometimes and I just say like 90s compilation or like Saturday morning cartoons. You can find YouTube channels that have it playing for like 7-8 hours, like a whole recording of Saturday morning cartoons, which is awesome. This, and for me, because I was like a later G.I. Joe baby, right? Because, you know, early 90s was my thing when I was actually like growing up here now on this planet. So I'm like, this was a G.I. Joe commercial for me that mattered a lot. I know the real diehard G.I. Joe fans is gonna laugh at this and be like, oh, I hate that vehicle. But when I saw this commercial, it was that like I wanted this so bad.
Get G.I. Joe tough!
I got it!
Super tough G.I. Joe General, a huge mobile battle fortress with working lights and electronic battlefield sounds.
Carbon attacking! Fire! Launch the battle copter!
The General has a giant cannon that really fires.
Fire!
With lights, action, and electronic battlefield sounds, nothing beats the General.
A real American hero!
General has lights, 6 electronic sounds, a battlecopter, and Major Storm.
Joe tough!
Now look, that's a little bit more modern, right, compared to their original vehicles that they released when the line came out. But there was just certain commercials that I 100% remember seeing, and like now when I'm on YouTube and I come across them, I'm like, oh shit, like it was that thing. Like those feelings is why I collect, like those feelings of nostalgia, and I think it's the same for a lot of us, right? Like, but it all takes me back to just simpler times, like I said, where we wasn't worried about a lot. We really wasn't worried about no drama, nothing other than being a kid and having one of the coolest toys on the block. And speaking of on the block, you knew where all your friends were because the bicycles were all outside your friend's house. Like I miss that. Like I miss that. I gotta, at one of these conventions, one of the big conventions that everybody goes to, we gotta get Ace from Ramen, we gotta get Valor, we gotta get Laser, we all gotta get old school bikes, and we just gotta ride them around the convention or outside the convention again, because that shit was so fun as a kid. Let's take a break. Let me get to some of these comments and just let me take myself out of memory lane for a second. Let's talk about some of these comments. Jackboy20 gifted 1 membership. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And happy holidays, man. I hope everybody enjoys their Thanksgiving. Like I said, I'm going live on Wednesday with Chad, but this is like I get to talk to you guys right before Thanksgiving, so I hope everybody just enjoying their day. And then, oh, what a surprise. We have Jenny here. Hello. Hi, Articulated Ninja, sending love. Thank you so much. She's family. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's bring this up real fast. We have WRX Anthony with the $5 chat. I need someone to make Splinter Cell figures. First of all, thank you for the chat, man. I appreciate that. Like I said, everything helps, but you bringing up, you're not the only person to talk about Splinter Cell figures. You know, hopefully Val is still watching, but it's just certain military lines or military related figures that there's like a real strong cult like following for, and Splinter Cell is definitely one of them. But yeah, that would be cool. I think I'm also worried because I'm like, how hard would it be to kit bash? You guys know I'm all about kit bashing, so how hard would it be to kit bash some Splinter Cell figures? I think with all the options that we get from Classified and Action Force, I think that should be pretty easy to kit bash. And then shout out to Ninja's mom for raising such a fine young man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yes, shout out to her. She did a lot of work. She had a lot of help. My parents had me at a young age. Like I am right. You guys remember that show? What was it called? Teen Mom. I was a part of that before it was cool. Like now it's accepted to like be a teen mom. My mom had me before when she was young. Same with my father, and they were kids. So it was kids trying to raise a kid. So that's another reason. Like I see so many people that like are so bitter with their parents, whether they're bitter with their father, they're bitter with their mom. They're bitter, oh, well, they did this wrong. She did that wrong. My dad did this to me. And I don't have that energy, bro. Like even with their mistakes, nobody's perfect. I sit back and I'm like, this was a case of kids raising kids. But my mom, she definitely tried. She definitely busted her ass. 2 gifts that I remember my father got me an Incredible Hulk. I don't know if you guys, anybody in the chat, you guys should remember this, but it was an Incredible Hulk that was in a cage. And when you pressed his back, the cage kind of like broke open, and his chest and his shirt kind of split apart because he was like raging, and it had sound effects and everything. But it was an Incredible Hulk figure. I should have tried to find that and bring that up. And then I remember my mom, this was probably like at the time the most big ticketed item that I ever received as a gift. There was multiple items, but I don't know if anybody remembers when Jack Pacific, they had the Dragon Ball Z line, and my mom got me all of them because they used to do like these around Christmas time. They would send out, I don't know, flyers and advertisements, but it had multiple waves, like 5, 6, 7 waves. That's like 20 action figures, and she got me every single one for Christmas, and that was a big deal. That actually prevented me from buying SH Figure Arts figures just because I love those figures so much. And of course, there's no comparison when it comes to articulation and detailing. Of course, SH Figure Arts is way better, but the nostalgia and the emotional attachment that I had to those figures. I'm like, I don't need to replace my Dragon Ball Z figures anytime soon. And then I gave them to one of my little brothers, and I regretted it because he like destroyed them shits. But I'm sure we all been there where we gave a toy to a sibling or a child, and they just wrecked that shit, man. But thank you, man. Thank you for shouting out my mom. It's something that I need to do more often. So you make me look bad that you did it before I did. Thank you. And then we got Mython with a $20 super chat. He's up there trying to compete with Blake now. Sup, Ninja? Wifey and I watch you to get together. I collect things that remind me of my childhood in the 80s and the 90s, but I like some modern stuff too. And thanks to you, you got me working on custom thickies. Now and wifey approved. Bro, I don't know if she's with you. I'm not trying to get you in trouble right now, but you said you guys watch my videos together, which I appreciate, but I think she should approve because there's a lot more trouble and a lot of other hobbies that I'm sure she would not want you to have. She does not want you hanging out on the weekends and going to clubs, bars, and lounges. I feel like, you know, women in general, they should approve of their man staying home and either playing a video game or, you know, collecting, painting, doing something like that, because it keeps us out of trouble. It keeps us in the house, keeps us out of trouble. And even though we spend money, sure, right, on games or figures, we kind of save money too, because to be out at bars and clubs, that shit is expensive, man. But shout out to Mython. Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it. It's cool that you guys watch my videos together. And then we got Valor. Laser pants smells. Of course, man. Of course. This is what they do. If you guys think it's bad on the chats, you got to be around them in person, especially the guy that doesn't like to be named. I'm going to name him cuz I'm not scared of shit. But that guy Jordan. I'm not sure what his last name is, because on YouTube, you know, I'm sure he got a few burner accounts, whether it's Jordan the guy, Jordan Withington, or whatever it is. But you guys want to see people argue, you got to watch Laser Pants and Jordan argue. And Jordan swears he wants to be the guy behind the scenes that nobody knows. He doesn't want nobody to say his name. But no, bro. Like, he be arguing way too much to not get his name said. I don't know if Jordan's here. He's probably going to catch this replay, though. But we're to get back to him that I was talking shit. And he'll come at me for it at the next convention I see him at. But shout out to Valor, man. Thank you, bro. And then we got Duarte Studios in the house. I think our generation just like smelling everything. That's not good, man. I remember smelling all my J's Pokemon cards. Oh yeah, the sneaker smell. That brand new fresh sneaker smell. That's some good shit. That's some good shit. Then I got older and I appreciated that new car smell. You see, I appreciate the new car smell, but it's like I always don't got the time to get that new car smell. Unless you just balling and you always, you know, leasing, buying or renting cars or cleaning out your car and hanging up that little, I just don't always have the time for it. I keep the car clean, of course. You know, I have women in my life too, so I have to keep certain things clean. But I get the action figure smell more often. It just sucks because Hasbro's Marvel Legends, I don't know if it's just the packaging or whatever, we don't get that smell like we used to, man. But I gotta agree with Duarte here. We smelled a lot. Like, I don't know what it was with our generation. Shout out to V Conley, another member. This is he's been a member for a month. I collect as a physical representation of the good times and not good times in my life. The figures and the characters reminded me that I can do anything. That is awesome, man. Yeah, there are some figures for me too, like in my collection when I'm looking at my shelf. I don't know comment if it's like this for you guys too, because I go through and I read all the live chats and the comments. I watch the replays and I like to just see what people said. But there's a few figures that I got like rough points, rough patches in my life, and I remember them clearly because I remember getting the figure. I remember that time that rough patch came, and I clearly remember getting the figure. And even though it's not like, I don't want to say the figure represents something bad, but they're just memories, right? And we can't run from the bad ones, even though we want to erase or escape from them or what. We can't run from them. We have to take the bad with the good. So definitely for me too, there's figures that I have that represent not so good times, but majority of them do represent the good times. And even the modern figures that I buy, they still take me back to being a kid, because that's where it all started. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it all started there. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, I appreciate that comment though, bro. That definitely made me think. We have Jose question. What method do you use, hot water or heat gun, to loosen joints? Thank you for the super chat, $4.99. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And I don't use hot water and I don't use a heat gun. Actually, let me see. I have it. Let me see. I have it. It's hard trying to do everything in reverse. Right there, I have a space heater. I use a space heater. And I like to place my action figures in front of the space heater because I have a heat gun. But one time I had it on high and I didn't realize how hot heat guns get. And guys, I fucked up. I messed up. I had it on high. I had it too close to the figure. And it was the Marvel Legends Silk. The one that came with the bandana face and then without the bandana. She's a nice looking action figure for anybody who knows the Marvel Legends Silk. And I melted her face right off. Like just completely took it off with the heat gun. And that wasn't the heat gun's fault. That was my fault. That was off of my inexperience and my stupidity. So, but since then I said, you know what? I don't even care to use the heat gun. I used it a few times after that, but I mainly use an electrical space heater, like just an electric space heater. I place an action figure in front of it on a box or whatever, probably like a foot away. And I just leave it there for a while. If there's just a specific part of the figure I want to heat up, you could do it with the space heater too. I just wrap the figure around in like a t-shirt or something and only leave the head exposed or the part exposed that I really want to heat up. But yeah, man, I don't use hot water. I don't like the idea of using water because then my figure gets all wet. And sometimes my mind like races and I'm like, okay, like some of that wetness stays inside of the figures. Like I watch people drop entire figures into like boiling water and stuff. And I'm like, there's no way you completely dry that figure out before you put it on the shelf. So then you got like mold and shit growing inside the plastic and water just sitting there. Hopefully it all evaporates, right? Science, right? We grew up with Bill Nye and the Magic School Bus and hopefully that shit all evaporates. But I just feel like in my mind it doesn't, especially if you have your collection in like a damp area, like whether it's the basement of your house or something like that. I'm not a fan of using water. And I feel like the water also takes away the oils from the factory for the joints to keep the joints smooth. And so, yeah, I just use an electric space heater. Thanks, Jose, for the $4.99 chat, man. I appreciate that. Ravenous says, I collect because I lost the use of my hands. I used to be a gamer, so now me and my fiance collect together. That is dope, man. Turning a negative into a positive. That's dope, man. I wonder, if you want to share, comment down, like, how did you lose your hands? How serious was it? But that's cool. That's cool that now this is what you're doing. I'm starting to become an old man, and I like to play the piano a lot too. But I notice like my fingers and my joints, and I've messed up some of my hands from growing up, being in the gym, doing things I shouldn't have been doing. I broke a few bones in my hands, and now they ain't moving the same. They ain't moving like they used to. But that's actually one of my worst fears, bro. It's one of my worst fears is losing my sight or losing my hands. Those are like two of my biggest fears. I am not meant to be Matt Murdock. I am not trying to change my YouTube name. We already got a Daredevil 19. I'm not trying to be Daredevil 20. Like, nah, man. Not for me. Shout out to Studio Real. Watching from the UK. It's 2 a.m. here. Stayed awake for this. More power to you and your clan. Yo, I appreciate that. And I like that picture too. That is nice, man. I'm a big animal person. Whether it's pets or not even household pets. Just animals in general. I care about animals a lot. That is awesome. Thank you for staying up. You don't have to catch the replay. If you're tired, man, go to sleep, please. But thank you. I definitely appreciate that. We're gonna get some more super chats and just comments in general. Real quick, I wanted to just continue talking about collecting because we're already at 44 minutes, guys. I never try to hold you up for too long. I see some people do like 4-hour streams and shit. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, especially because we're going private. And on a private stream, like I said, all of my channel members, I'm doing a giveaway for my channel members just to give back because those guys make sacrifices for me, so I appreciate it. But I just want to talk about collecting again real quick. And collecting for me in my childhood, Like I want people to comment in the chat. Collecting for me was, and just say what it was for you. Whether it's something simple, something deep. It always doesn't have to be deep and meaningful. It could have just been. It was a good time, because that's all it's supposed to be at the end of the day. Like it's just supposed to be a good time. Even though modern wise, like we get companies and distribution like f***ing stuff up for us and just messing it up. But overall, it's just supposed to be a good time. But collecting for me was my action figures, and I actually felt like my action figures were my friend. Like no lie, no lie. I didn't get my first actual sibling until I was like 10. So growing up prior to that, like I had my school friends. I was lucky enough to have one school friend that like became my brother over time. We've been cool since kindergarten. Shout out to Charles. But I didn't have siblings really prior to 10. So I felt like my action figures were really my friends in a lot of the cases. And I would bring them to school. And some kids would like, they would try to yank or take my action figures. And I'm like, nah, bro, you're not taking my only friend. You're not. Some of the first fights that I ever got into, and I don't even consider them fights, because if you're 10 or younger, what are you guys really going to do to each other? Like, you guys are going to bop each other up a little bit, start screaming, start crying until a parent or a school staff breaks it up. It's not even that serious. But some of the first fights were over action figures for me. At least my first 3 that I remember, they were all over action figures. And it was always because, like I said, I was the kid. I brought action figures to the sandbox. I brought action figures to the playground. And I was the kid that I would let other kids play with my figures. But sometimes you get the dumb kid that just tries to walk off with it. And then I got to run up behind him and be like, yo, where you going? Like, give me my stuff back. And there was actually some kids at the time. And, you know, looking back at it now, I don't know what the kids could have been going through. I don't know what their home life was. Probably something horrible. But they would just be like, nah, I'm not giving it to you. And I shit you not, guys. I remember at least 2 of my earliest memories of getting into like playground, sandbox, Rugrats type of fights. It was literally over people trying to take my action figure. And what's crazy is I clearly remember before the fight, before I said the fight, like it was a real fight. We're kids. But before I threw the first punch, because a lot of the times I would throw the first hit, before I did, here's how much I loved my action figures. One of them was over a McDonald's White Ranger action figure. And I clearly remember when the kid pushed me and said, it's mine now. I clearly remember saying right before the fight, guess what my dumb ass says? Before I throw the first punch, I said it's morphin' time.
All right then. It's morphin' time! Dragon Sword!
Yo, what was I morphing into? Bro, what was I? I clearly remember, like, yo, I was that kid. That's how involved in my mind. Like, my imagination was crazy. Like, yo, it was deep, man. And it's like, yo, you have a kid. There was an episode of South Park where, like, all the kids in their mind, they were really getting into some real fights, and all the people and the adults driving by just saw little kids in an alley, just like screaming and doing weird shit. But in their mind, they was having full anime fights. That was me. Think about how delusional you got to be as a kid to scream, it's morphin' time, before you swing on somebody. Yo, that's crazy. That is so crazy. I think now as an adult, I think I would do the same thing now as an adult. Like when I went to PowerCon, no, was it PowerCon? No, it was Joe Fest. When I went to Joe Fest, and then that funny guy, that funny guy Iron Ken brought up, oh, you showed up with 2 women, bro, because I didn't feel threatened. I felt so not threatened that I probably would have said it's morphin' time before I swung. That's how not threatened I felt. It was all a joke to me. Like, it was like, if I'm not feeling threatened or whatever, but when I was a kid, I'm pretty sure I was scared. Like, I was always scared getting into fights, especially before I started training and stuff. Like, below 10, I wasn't in the gym when I was like 5 or 6. Like, that was my little brother. That wasn't me. So I was scared, but I knew in my mind, bro, you're not taking my friend from me. And my action figures were my friends. Like, you couldn't tell me otherwise. So even if I remember that kid was bigger than me, and maybe I said it's morphin' time because in my mind, that would help me gain the power to beat him. I don't know, but I clearly remember saying it's morphin' time. And then another big thing with collecting was, the Hess trucks. Even if I wasn't interested in the Hess truck, right? You guys remember Hess trucks would do them every year. I think that they still do too. But now it's like an order online exclusive thing, obviously, because there's no Hess gas stations around like that anymore. But the Hess trucks was a big deal for me when I was growing up. And I like to see the commercials. My uncle would try to get me every Hess truck that he could. And I miss him so much. Give me a second. And the Hess truck commercials, they were such a big deal. Such a big deal. But I feel like I said, with other toy companies and stuff like that, they put a lot of money and like budget into old school like Hess truck commercials. Like take a look at this real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 1991 Hess Toy Truck is here. This Christmas, 2 exciting vehicles for your driving pleasure. Nice as nice. First, the Hess Truck with 32 lights. Headlights, taillights, side lights. All standard features. Now, imagine revving the engine of this sleek racer. So sleek. The sticker price? $10.99 with Energizer batteries. All new at Hess stations. Happy holidays from Hess.
Bro, $10.99? What a different time. We get lucky, you know, Hasbro throws in some flickering lights and they think it's okay to charge $350. Like, that shit was $10.99. And it was pretty sizable. Like, I think I still do have that one. It's pretty sizable, but obviously it's not 1/12 scale at all. But I mean, $10.99, what a different time. But look at the budget on that commercial. You had to get all these kids, you had to dress them up. They was on stage, they had props. They like, that shit is crazy, man. And now companies, if they throw in flickering lights, like I said, you're paying $350. But the Hess truck commercials, they were awesome. They was awesome when I was growing up. I looked forward to every year wondering what the Hess truck commercial, not even so much the Hess truck was going to be, but what was the commercial going to be like? Like, how over the top were they going to try and make the commercials? Shout out to Chad, man. Yo, I'm going to see you Wednesday. We going to get into it Wednesday. Everybody, like I said, I'm going to put the link in the description to this video. This is the guy I'm going to be arguing with on Wednesday on what scale is better. He's doing 1/18 or 3-inch scale. I'm talking, I think 6-inch figures are better. But of course, he's going to stick to his guns. I'm going to stick to my guns. And we're going to have a good ass heated debates on what scale is better. And hopefully we reach some type of conclusion by the end of it, man. Shout out to Chad. Thank you for that super chat, man. I appreciate it. I was watching him live earlier. He had a pretty chill, good ass show earlier. Shout out to Disavowed. Love old toy commercials. Bro, they hit different. They hit different. It was just something about them, man. Them shits hit different. Shout out to Disavowed. And Figure Fever with the super chat. Hi, Articulated Ninja. What's up, man? What's going on? He got quite a few logos next to his picture. That's cool. Like, get it? Figure Fever, and it's showing he got the temperature thing. I don't need to explain that shit. You guys get it. But, oh, and then somebody, Shadow Spirit. I wonder who this could be. New figure paint smell is the best. I know who this is, man. This is someone I'm extremely close to in my life. One of my little bros. And it's funny for me because when he gets an action figure and I watch him open it or I watch him smell it, it looks funny. But I say to myself, damn, I wonder if I looked that funny when I was growing up doing the same thing. Like, I wonder if I look that crazy, but I can't even hate on him. It's cool. It's like I'm watching a torch be passed down. The torch of smelling action figures. You watch it get passed down to younger generations. That's crazy, man. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you. Oh, and look at who we got in the house. The one and only Dave. Displaying model behavior. Hey, Ninja community. This is a perfect way to start my weekend. Thanks for the great content, buddy. Bro, thank you for providing some great content. I said it multiple times and I'll say it again. As far as consistency, as far as, you know, I get on YouTube and like this guy has a video up like almost every damn day, if not every day, some type of content. I'm like, I don't know how he does it because I can't do it. But shout out to Dave from Displaying Model Behaviors, man. I brought you up in my most recent video, my Blade video. I said Chef's Kiss. I'm gonna make you a meme where you're just saying Chef's Kiss. And I'm gonna start using that shit on my channel, man. Shout out to Dave from Displaying Model Behavior. Yeah, man, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Just give me a minute, guys. Let's see, we got another super chat from Mython. Thank you, man, Following up, wifey said, that's right. Stay at home, safe and sound, playing around with my toys. Also, consider these super chats me paying royalties for the amazing kit bashes and ideas I'm getting from you. Thickies, tanks, etc. Yo, that means a lot, man. Thank you so much, because I really be busting my ass. I try to do more than just the average review. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I really be busting my ass trying to bring you guys entertaining content that's not boring and not like traditional. So thank you so much for that, Mython. I appreciate that. And she's right. Keep your ass at home. I hope she's saying that's right now. She's right. Keep your ass at home and just play with action figures. There's no need for you to be out there in the streets, bro. No need at all. Yeah, keep your ass at home. I know my ladies are saying the same exact thing. Yes, keep your ass at home. Oh, and we got another superstar in the house. Just Incredible with the super sticker. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I shouted this guy out on my channel before, man. But if you have not checked out Just Incredible, please check him out. Please check him out. It's like, he is one of the most comedic, like, damn YouTubers I have. That's right now. That's modern. He is definitely funny as shit to watch. I got to check out some of his stuff. Probably last week was the last time I watched the video, and I don't comment as much as I should, but I always press that like button. But I gotta go comment on some of his shit, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Bro, speaking of handing things down, Chef's Kiss is all yours, brother. Nah, man, I appreciate it, but it's not mine. Like I said, I'm gonna meme you. I'm gonna meme you doing the Chef's Kiss on your channel. So you know what? In one of your most recent videos, say that it's for me, and make sure that you do it in a good way that you don't mind being looped and repeated for the rest of my channel's life. So next time you do it, have me in mind, because that might be the one that I actually loop you doing it. But I remember in my mind, you've done it so many times where you actually do the kiss and do that. And I'm like, yeah, I need to meme him on my channel for that shit. But thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. What did Greg Finstad? Watch the next big review will be named Action Figure Sniffer. I hope not, bro. That sounds like, I'm telling you, it sounds weird. If you think about it, it's weird, like, but it's just, it was a part of the hobby, especially growing up. Like, that smell would just smack the shit out of you as soon as you opened up a new action figure, man. It would. Blake Tarpley, collecting is nostalgic for me. I'm reacquiring all the same figures, but in a different size, more articulation. Collected about 10 Marvel comic titles a month from 1984 to 19... Sheesh, man. And the whole collecting in a different size, I feel the same way. Like, it's cool to have the actual figure that I had back then, right? But in most cases, I don't try to get the figure that I had back then. So I'm not like big into vintage and collecting. I just try to get the same character, you know, that's a modern update, more articulation, better paint apps, you know. And that's why I'm gonna be coming for Chad's neck when we debate on Wednesday. I'm gonna be coming for his neck, because I don't really want that. I don't need to have that exact figure that I had growing up. I just need the character, man. And I want it to be updated. I want it to be better. I want it to represent that we are in 2023. So I definitely feel you on that, Blake. Definitely. I'm just going through the chat. I'm trying to keep up with everything. But yeah, collecting for me, guys, that was basically, in short, that was my collecting story. We got over 250 people here. Like, just hit that like button if you can, man. It's crazy, like, and it's cool to see everybody's comments on what collecting was for them. Like, I'm really looking forward to going back and looking at the comments that I don't even have time to pull up on screen. I'm so excited to go back. Collecting for me was me and my cousins. He brought this up to me before. Get together and see who got what. I remember I had an X-Men box set covered art that was official. I gotta look it up. Yeah, man. It's like those memories, especially if you have memories with people that are no longer here. Like, you don't forget that stuff. Like, there's action figures that I look at on the shelves, and some of them were gifts to me from people that are like no longer here. That's a big deal. I had somebody comment on one of my Keep It Real videos. There was a guy, and he said he looks at a pop figure that either he got for his daughter or his daughter got for him. Forgive me, I don't remember the specifics, and I don't want to be wrong about such a serious subject, but she's no longer here. And I think that's that's definitely something that I would not be prepared for in life. I think that's one of the hardest things that a parent can do, is have to bury their kid. I would not wish that on absolutely anybody. I would never wish that on anybody. But he said that he looks at the pop figure and sometimes he cries, sometimes he laughs, but it always brings him back feelings and emotions when he looks at that pop figure. That shit got me. Like, you see, like, that shit got me when I read that comment, and that was just such a big deal. Of course, it was more in depth. It was like a paragraph, and I was just sitting there like, damn, like, that's the reality for a lot of people, and myself included, and with a lot of things. Not having to bury a kid, I would never wish that on nobody. That is horrible. Kids are supposed to bury their parents. That is the natural order of things. But looking at action figures and having them be tied to a specific memory, or, you know, a specific person within a specific experience, that stuff matters a lot, man. Rest in peace to JDF. Speaking of rest in peace to JDF, man, I cannot wait to get those White Dragon figures. This is not a plug for Valorverse. That's not what this is. But honestly, it looks like one of the best damn JDF head sculpts we're ever going to get. Honestly, it looks like one of the best, especially a modern JDF. The Lightning Collection, they always do him as a teenager. Tommy was awesome. He was the Green Ranger. Like, he was the man. Even as a teenager, he was the man. But we have no, like, adult modern, like, good renditions of his head sculpt. So I am super excited to get that figure in, because JDF was my favorite Ranger, as I'm sure he was a lot of people's favorite Ranger. And shout out to Death Skull. The Death Skull has just become a YouTube member. Bro, thank you. Welcome to the Articulated Ninja Clan. I appreciate that, man. And I like that picture a lot. It looks like he's using a Marvel Legends. I believe that's Crossbones, or I know it's a Marvel Legends character, but he has it on an Action Force body. That shit looks badass, man. That looks cool. And then we have Elizabeth with a super chat. Thank you. Hi, Ninja. Collecting for me was a way to deal with being alone literally all the time. I didn't have friends until I was a teenager. So yeah. Yo, I can definitely relate to that. I can definitely relate to that. And at the same time, like, it sucked being alone. For me personally, it sucked. But I was really appreciative that I had that time to be alone, because I do think it helps develop character. The same way having friends and going out and having social experiences, that helps develop character too. But so does being alone. Like, I think that definitely helps develop character. So that's a really good point that you brought up, and thank you for, you know, sharing something like that. Because I mean, to some people it's not a big deal, but that could have been a big part of your life. That is a vulnerable part of your life. So thank you for sharing that. And I can definitely relate to that. Like I said, I didn't get an actual younger sibling until I was 10. So prior to then, all my fights, if my boy wasn't around to help me, I was screaming it's morphin' time and trying to fight multiple people by myself, which isn't the smartest thing to always try to do. But hey, man, it's part of growing up. It helps, man. Shout out to Elizabeth. Thank you so much for that super chat and for sharing that. Will you sign the box for the giveaway? I will, if the person that wins the giveaway wants me to. Of course, without a doubt. I will sign every single box. I do the same thing at shows, man. There's so many times people walk up to the Action Force table, and I'm used to people asking Valor to sign, right? Like, he's the creator of the line. Valor's over here people are asking to take pictures with him, asking him to hold their baby. So I'm used to Valor being a superstar, right? And but it's still so surreal to me when people ask me to sign. I can't count almost every convention people ask me to sign some Action Force figures or a figure that they just picked up. And it's like, it's definitely humbling for me, and I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, definitely every giveaway I have, I'm always going to ask the person, when I reach out to them, or they hit me up on Instagram with the whole shipping information, I'm gonna ask them if they want me to sign it. That was a good question, man. I should have mentioned that on my own, but I didn't, because like, my mind don't be there. Like, I don't think about signing my stuff like my signature matters. I don't think like that. So thank you for bringing that up. Ninja was in the projects. Oh yeah, yo, I was on the game like last week. And my little brother asked me, he's like, yo, if there was any universe that you could be a part of, or like live in, or that, you know, real world, you were snapped into this cartoon or anime or live action universe, what would it be? I didn't want to pick a universe that was too tough for me to survive in, right? Like everybody, I Am Legend That's cool, right? But realistically, what are the chances that you're going to be the survivor in I Am Legend, the one guy with the one dog and the one action figure? Like, I don't think it would be me, right? So I stayed quiet for a little while, and my answer to him was the Power Rangers. Not because I like the Power Ranger universe more than any other universe. No, absolutely not. But I told him, I said, I will beat the out of some putties. There was times the Rangers beat putties up without morphing. So I'm like, yo, if I'm in the mall with my girls and if we're chilling, I don't care. We could be at Applebee's eating. I don't care where we are. I told my girl, if putties drop down out of nowhere, I'm fighting. Like, this is my moment. I waited my whole life for this. Now as an adult, I get to scream, it's morphin' time. I will beat the shit out of some putties, bro. It was so funny, man. Project putties. Oh man, that was funny. That was funny. Thank you for that comment. But yeah, it would. I was definitely in a project. That's what I viewed them as, bro. When you tried to take my shit, you was definitely just a putty to me. No questions asked. You had to get beat. You had to get beat like you was a putty. Shout out to Art G. He's in the house as well. But yeah, guys, that in short, I know that wasn't so short. We already here for an hour and 6 minutes. In short, that's really what collecting was. For me, and I'm trying to load up some of the newer comments because, like I said, the chat and shit just keeps moving. I try to keep up with it, but that's what collecting was for me, man. It was a mix of everything. It was a mix of the 90s. It was a mix of the commercials. We had so much good shit back then, and I feel like everybody says that, right? Now we're the old heads that say, hey, back in my day. I didn't think I was going to be that older guy saying, hey, back in my day. And I remember when I was a teenager listening to people in their 30s and shit say stuff like that. And I just look at them like, what are you talking about? But now I'm that guy that's saying, hey, back in my day. But I just feel like we had really good stuff, man. We had really good stuff. Roger Abbott says, I collect because it reminds me of a simpler, happier times. And I'm a pretty happy adult with a good job, sexy wife. I love that he threw that in there. And hopefully soon some children. But I had a golden childhood and I love, that is awesome, man. I hope that you have some healthy children soon as well. I'm happy that you got the good job and the sexy wife. That is awesome, Roger. That is awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I think for a lot of us, it just reminds us of simpler times. And it's sad. Like, I watch a lot on YouTube. This is totally off topic, but I watch a lot of street interviews because they're genuine. It's not scripted. Street interviews with, ex workers, homeless people. I like to watch street interviews because it's like a peek into someone else's story, someone else's life. And it seems like a lot of the times they go down that road of getting addicted to a substance or, things being because they're trying to escape from whatever pain that they're feeling. And it's like, damn, I relate to that. I definitely relate to escapism and using things, whether it's a product or it's a video game. I relate to using things to try and escape. But when you're escaping to the point where there's so many negatives and it's affecting your daily life and it's hurting the people that love you and that you love, and it's like you have to reevaluate what you're using to escape. There was guys that I knew that started collecting Hot Toys and went bankrupt. Like, no lie, had to file for bankruptcy because I worked at a comic book store and it was like, I was wondering, I'm like, this guy has a regular job. Like, he has a minimum wage job and he's just always coming in, buying Hot Toys. And then one day I start talking to him and I notice he starts to look rough and rough as the days go by. And I'm like, yo, like month after month, he's looking a little bit more, rusty around the edges. And then I finally start talking to him. He starts talking to me like he lost his family. He lost his just everything, his job, his family. And I'm like, so what are you doing buying Hot Toys figures? Like, and out of all figures, you choose Hot Toy figures. Like, bro, that's the creme de la creme, the top priciest shit that you can, that's up there, bro. That's like statues, prices of statues. Why you choose this? And he's like, man, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good when I go home and I open it. And I wasn't trying to give him no advice because, hey, he is a grown ass man. But I remember I said, I'm like, bro, like, even though it makes you feel good, you do have to think about long term what's going to make you feel good too. And that's rough, man. That is rough. But I hope that, similar to Roger, a lot of the things are just about happier times. It brings us back to happier times. and we use a lot of different things to go back to those happier times. I definitely relate to that. We got Ruben Angel saying, I collect because it reminds me of my mom was broke, but would spend the little money she had to make me feel special / loved. Every kid would stunt in school, but I was a broke, happy kid. Shout out to your mom, bro. Like, real talk, shout out to your mom for making those sacrifices. I could relate to that, man. My mom made sacrifices. I remember her. It wasn't a coincidence that she always happened to work overtime or work extra around Christmas time. That wasn't a coincidence. Like, but shout out to your mom for that, man. That's some real shit. I'm glad that you can look back at it and, you know, that's what it reminds you of, is her busting her ass. That is awesome. Shout out to Crystal and Freddie, man. This is a name that I often recognize on my channel. Shout out to them. Collecting for me is and was a safety net. My father used to come home drunk and I will put my G.I. Joes at the door to protect me. Bro, that is a horrible story, right? But the fact that you turned it into a positive and you're still collecting now, when the origin of you collecting is so horrible, that definitely sucks, man. But it's such a beautiful thing at the same time that you turned it into this positive, even though you remember what the origins were, like where it comes from. That is awesome, bro. I put them in. That was similar to me as a kid, man. I had my figures in my pocket, and no matter what was going down, I always felt like in some weird way I had a friend with me. Like, I had help. Let me just say that. I had help. So now, being a man of the household and stuff like that, you know, somebody knocks on the door. A lot of people, especially younger people, they don't know what that's like to have to be the one to answer the door. And that's one of the pressures that we face as men. Like, so now I got to answer that door no matter what time, no matter how many people it is outside. I got to answer that door. But as a kid, I always felt like, yo, if I had action figures with me, or they definitely held me down. Shout out to you for sharing that, man. Shout out to you for sharing that. That is awesome that you turned it into that positive thing. Don't forget the origin. Like, obviously you never will, but that is awesome you turned it into that. Thank you for sharing that, man. I just want to read a few more collectings, what collecting was for everybody else, because that shit matters to me. Like, this is why I go live, because I want to talk with you guys and I want to see what you have as far as experience wise. Jack said, collecting for me is a lot of things. It's a hobby that turned into art projects. It's that connection with my dad and all of his favorite nerddoms. It's my escape as the oldest and only boy in my fam. I 100% relate to that, bro. That is awesome. That is beautiful. And like I said, there's a lot of other, as long as you collect responsibly, you know, they say drink responsibly. You got to tell people nowadays to collect responsibly, but as long as you collect responsibly, it should be nothing but positive vibes. Like, even when I get a figure, check out my Blade review that I did recently, man. Even when I get a figure that I feel like isn't up to standard or lets me down in certain ways, I'm still happy and appreciative as fuck I was even able to get the figure. Because majority of us living in a first world country, we are doing better than 80% of human beings on this planet. So if you guys think when I'm complaining in a video or I'm actually taking it personally, or I'm actually so upset at Hasbro, and no, like, it's not that serious. I'm voicing my critiques and my criticisms, but I do not lack the self-awareness to know that it is a luxury for a person to even be able to buy one Marvel Legends, especially Legends now, which the resale price is basically $30 for one damn Legends. That is a luxury with the prices of groceries nowadays. Like, that shit is crazy. But thank you for sharing that, Jack. I appreciate that. Ironic Bionic, who's a channel member, shout out to you for being a thank you, man. Collecting for me brings me back to a better time, fun with friends, no adult worries or stress. It was comics, figures, and making forts in the woods. That is awesome, bro. That's exactly what I said. That is exactly what I said, man. Like, that's what it should be about. It just takes us back to simpler times. And there's much other stuff that you could be doing to take you back to quote unquote simpler times that maybe would have worse effects than just collecting, man. I don't want anybody to ever feel ashamed of collecting or nothing like that, bro. Don't let half of it. People gonna judge you no matter what you do. whether you collect, whether you don't collect, and somebody that want to judge you, they're gonna judge you regardless. So just do whatever it is that's gonna make you happy, man. Let them judge you for that. Tim Taser says, collecting for me was my first Star Wars figures that my grandmother got me for Christmas. 3 of them, Chewie, R2, and C-3PO. That's cool, bro. And you got 3 figures. The Garrison are my top 3 favorite Action Force figures ever released. And you got 3 of them right there. That is awesome, man. That you're always going to have that attachment to her. Whether she's still with you or she's not, it doesn't matter. You're always going to have that attachment to getting those 3 figures on Christmas for her. That is awesome, Tim. Thank you for being a channel member, and thank you for sharing that. Same with Suka, another channel member. Collecting for me was having my own disconnect from reality and being able to live in this controlled universe, in a controlled universe of my own creation. Bro, that makes sense. That's why I always love photography, but I've done headshots and like weddings and photography and stuff like that for people and events, but it's not fun. It's not fun for me I like posing action figures because I get to control that universe. I get to control how the person's standing, how they're moving, how they look. So I love having that control over an entire universe. Even if I got the option to, I don't want to control this universe. I'm good. I don't want the control over actual sentient beings. I don't want that. But control over something that isn't alive, that isn't, I take that any day, because then I get to bring it to life and make it what I want it to be. So shout out to Suka, man. Mython Ninja, what's your top 3 favorite action figure IPs you love to collect? Bro, that question is too hard to answer. I'm not even gonna try to figure it out and waste everybody's time on stream and shit. That shit is too hard. There's too many IPs that I love. Street Sharks, Gargoyles. Now what Val is doing with modern Action Force. I said modern Force. Like, there's so many IPs that I love, from old stuff to new stuff like Action Force, it's just, there's so many damn IPs. I can't choose, bro. Like, it's too much. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not even gonna waste my time trying to figure it out, bro. That is too difficult of a question for me. But yes, Mython says, big shout out to all them moms that love their kids. Yes, shout out to all the moms that made shit happen, all the dads that made shit happen, all the grandparents that made shit happen, all the uncles that made shit happen. Just any type of older influence that cared about making the kid's day. You don't need to be related. You know what I'm saying? Like, 2 of the men that contributed to the most to me being the man that I am today, I didn't share no blood relation to them. But shout out to all the adults and, the parents and everybody that contributes to helping a child have a memory that they'll remember forever. Like a Christmas where they get 3 action figures that they'll never forget about. We got Venom Symbiote with $1 super chat. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. He also said, Articulated Ninja, I didn't realize why I collect until one of your vids. I think it stems from my dad playing with my figures on the floor with me. He was murdered when I was 6. 35 years later, it's like he's in my hobby. Bro, I just said, like, it keeps you connected to people that aren't even here no more. Like, and that's what it's about. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was a big contributing factor as to why you collect. Because wouldn't that be considered like simpler times for you? Happy moments that, you wouldn't want to forget or replace or whatever. Hell yeah, that's a big deal. Like, I remember playing with figures on the floor with certain people too that's no longer here, and that shit contributed a lot to me. Like, it was a big deal for me then. But yeah, Venom, thank you for that super chat and for sharing. Dino says, collecting for me began as a hope to show my son, now sons, that even if you get older, you don't need to always follow the crowd, and you should be able to be comfortable in doing what makes you happy. Bro, I can't say it. That should be like, I wish I could just pin that like to the top of the banner, like, don't follow the crowd. Don't follow the crowd. I can't count how many collectors were shamed out of the hobby. Whether they were shamed by their wives, whether they were shamed by coworkers, don't follow the crowd. Like, that is beautiful that those kids, they have a dad that's talking to them like that. That is awesome, man. Shout out to you. Keep trying to be a good dad, because that is some awesome knowledge or an awesome route or road that you want them to go down. That is awesome, man. Respect to that. Alex S., who's a channel member, man. Thank you for being a channel member. I grew up in a country where minimum wage is less than $8 a month. Sheesh. See, that's what I'm talking about. These are different worlds that a lot of people, they stay in a bubble and they don't even realize are a thing. Like, they don't even realize that exists. They don't even realize, they can't even imagine what it's like to put yourself in that person's shoes. I think about shit like that all the time. All the time. But that's crazy that that's where you come from, because that is $8 a month. I mean, sheesh. Thank you for sharing that, Alex. That is some deep shit. Cincinnati's 5-star barber. Yo, if I'm ever in Cincinnati, I'm gonna try to meet up with the 5-star barber, because I want to see what type of service you got, man. Shout out to you for being a member for a month. My toy cave is like the 11-year-old me getting off the bus in the afternoon and going into the house to watch my favorite shows. That is beautiful, man. With my favorite toys. That is beautiful. That's exactly how it should be, man. Even if you don't have the luxury of having an entire room dedicated to something, right? Not all of us can have action figures rooms or a basement or a garage or anything like that that's filled with bookshelves. It could be a living room. It doesn't matter where it's at. But I would urge collectors or people, or just have a shelf. Just have a shelf or two up of some of your favorite IPs or your favorite action figures. That shit will only give you positive feelings when you look at that shelf. Let alone if you could look at an entire bookcase. But if you could just look at that shelf, that's going to give you positive feelings. It's going to help you be positive for that day or in that moment, even if you're feeling down. That is so true, man. That's awesome. That it reminds you of getting off that bus. Death Skull, collecting and my lady got me away from drinking my life away. As it should. As it should. Whatever's going to get you away from doing shit like that, that's dope, man. Shout out to your lady. As it should. Duarte just to me is being able to contribute to fellow collectors with accessories and dioramas to make their dreams a reality, and being able to leave a legacy for my daughter that I can be proud of. That is awesome, guys. And his shit, your dioramas, bro. Like, yeah, that's something I hope lives forever, because no wonder companies are paying you to make the crazy ass dioramas that you do, because yeah, them shits definitely will be memorable. And as your daughter gets older, she's gonna have memories. I'm interested to see, what hobbies she picks up, because she's gonna remember you being in your office or in your workspace, your area, watching you make these dioramas. Is she gonna make dioramas too? I don't know, but I'm sure she'll be some type of art, or she'll be inclined towards art in general, because she's watching you do what you do. So that is pretty cool. Jack Maddox, channel member, man. Welcome, Articulated Ninja Reviews. Come here for the sweet ass action figures. Leave with all the feels. That's good, man. That means I'm doing my job, bro. There's so many bullshit channels out there that they're just like, hey, I don't have a, hey, here's the figure. Here's how it moves. And yeah, it's awesome. And that's all they do. I just, oh my God. So, yeah, I'm glad that I can help bring some feels, some type of feel, some type of thoughts to this community, or just collecting in general, man. I appreciate that. This is the most heartfelt stream I have ever seen. Where's all my toxicity? Yo, I gotta get the toxic noise that Laser Pants be playing, man. Yeah, I gotta turn it up and be a little bit more toxic, right? This is too many feels for everybody in the chat right now. But yo, collecting, whether people want to admit it or not, a lot of the times, I would say 9 out of 10 times, it's about escapism, man. And some of us have some really horrible memories that we want to escape from, and we use action figures to escape from them. And I just hope that people collect responsibly, because you see people that they try to collect any and everything, and they fall down that escapism hole really, really hard, really fast. And it could be negative, but majority of collectors that I do see, majority of people that are Ninja Clan members, when I talk to them, when I get to meet them in person, everybody seems like pretty responsible collectors. And people are honest as shit. I mean, you got people commenting like, it stopped me from drinking, it stopped me from doing this. That's what it's all about. V Conley says, definitely love hearing these stories, and this is what the community is about. 100%, man. Guys, my Keep It Real video, I'm gonna be dropping that before Thanksgiving. So be on the lookout for the Keep It Real video. Well, I'm gonna talk about some really deep shit, man. And I try to bring up comments. I use everybody's comments as like motivation, because those Keep It Real videos are rough, man. Because I'm talking about self-deletion and stuff like that, stuff that especially affects males. I'm not saying it doesn't affect women at all, but it affects males 4 to 5 times more. That is a very big difference, a very big difference. So man, I enjoyed this stream. I definitely enjoyed this stream. Guys, if you're a channel member, make sure that you stick around for the after, because if anybody missed it in the beginning, I'm giving these away. Major Blood and 2 troopers. Like I always say, I'm an army builder, so I feel bad getting someone or giving someone 1 troop builder. So we're doing 2. But if you're a channel member, try to stick around for that. That's going to start in 10 minutes right after this ends. Jester says it's a great things that have changed in the last decades as more hobbies have become more expected. Yes. And I feel like a big part of that too, Jester, is COVID. Like COVID, of course, you had a boom with YouTubers and action figure creators but gamers in general, just in general. COVID, I feel like definitely created a boom where you was like, oh, people don't have money, right? They shouldn't be collecting. But I feel like it was such a depressing time. COVID was such a depressing time that it made people want to escape. It made people want to go and buy things that they had from their childhood or things that they didn't have. But nonetheless, no one's buying anything to feel bad. No one's buying anything we're buying these things to feel good. Whether it's momentarily, whether it's 5 or 10 minutes and then we put it on the shelf and we feel good every time we look at it. But COVID, a lot of people wanted to feel good. And that's when you hear people talk about like, hey, the prices of stuff that was used. Old Nintendo 64s, old PlayStations. So they skyrocketed during COVID because people were home and they wanted to feel good. Action figures, used action figures, it didn't matter. Like people want to feel good. Blake Tarpley, yeah, this one is like a Keep It Real live. Bro, keep it reals, this one is deep, right? But Keep It Reals get deep, bro. I'm not sure if I would ever really want to do a Keep It Real live. I think I would do a Keep It Real live for my channel members, because I would probably get choked up too many times. Like on this one, I had to pause a few times just to gather myself and my thoughts and my feelings. A Keep It Real video, I'm telling you, bro, like there's a lot of times I don't record a Keep It Real video straight through. There's a lot of times I'll record a part and then I'll stop. Take some time to myself to think, and then I'll record the second. So Keep It Real live, maybe for the channel members. If the channel members ever want to do that, I'll definitely be down for that for my channel members. But thank you, Blake. I appreciate that. Dormammu says, appreciate what you do and what you bring to the table. Remember though, we got your back too when you feel in too deep, too negative, or whatever comes up. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I'm at the point now, especially as an adult, that I usually can handle. I've had some wild shit thrown my way, and consecutively back to back. Like in my luck, I never just lose one person. Like I lose multiple things or multiple people back to back. It's never like one person and then 2 or 3 years later it's another thing. Like it's always back to back. But I definitely appreciate that. I always keep my channel members up to date. And Blake got me thinking now, like a Keep It Real video or just, something like that live for my channel members. That would be awesome. That would definitely be awesome. But thank you, Dormammu. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, guys, so I had you here for over 200 people still here, and all I'm doing is talking shit about collecting and being a collector and what it meant to me, and everybody sharing what it means to them. I appreciate that, man, so much. But yeah, and Not Top Goon, who's a channel member, this year has been a difficult one, but it's by far the most remembered. Being a part of the community that's so caring and understanding and shares the same passions that I've had since I've been a child. Bro, I'm sure if you watch my stuff, you probably watch 3POA. You probably, Not Top Goon is a name in the community that a lot of people have started to recognize to see, because this guy be all over the place, man. And he's definitely passionate about figures and, what he collects in the community. Shout out to Not Top Goon. I appreciate every time you come out, you comment, you show love. I appreciate that. Thank you for being a channel member. exactly as Alex says right here, raises a cup of coffee to all. Kid, let's go another hour. I can't, bro. I don't want to hold people up here, whatever. That's why I have the private videos for my the private lives for my channel members, man. I don't want to hold people up. But I appreciate everybody. Just wrapping up real quick. I hope that everybody has a chill Thanksgiving. If you don't make it over to my live with Chad, when me and him are gonna argue and fight for however long about scale, yeah, like if you don't make it to that, just have a chill Thanksgiving. Try not to get into no shit, because I brought it up during my other video. Like, shit gets crazy around the holidays. People are more emotional. I brought up the self-deletion rates. Those skyrocket during the holidays. So if you are feeling alone, if you are feeling some type of way, please reach out. Like, reach out. I'm not saying to me, I'm behind on Instagram messages, actually, like, but I'm just talking about to someone that you care about. Reach out to someone that you care about. You know, there's so many different hotlines. I usually put some hotlines in the descriptions to my videos, but men's mental health is a big thing. It's a big thing for me. Tim says, change my name from Garrison Calvary. Great to see you again last weekend. I might make this trip to Massa. I hope you do, man. Thank you for letting me know you changed your name too, because I can't always remember shit like that. But yes, now it makes sense. That's Garrison Calvary. Okay, yeah, man. I like our conversations when you randomly decide to pull up to the Action Force table, man. I agree. Will Chad yell it's morphin' time? I hope so. You know what? I'm gonna say it right here. Before Chad even, I'm gonna yell it. I'm gonna yell it before we start fighting and going back and forth. I'm gonna yell it. I don't care if he yells. He's not a stronger ranger than me. I don't care about what he yells. Whatever he yells is not gonna help him from these facts. Ain't nothing gonna help Chad from none of these facts. But yeah, man. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna let you guys get out of here. Just make sure, like I said, if you're a channel member, in 10 minutes, that is going to be live. The private video is going to be live. This way you could be entered in to win these action figures. If you want me to sign them, I will. But the private chats is, the private lives, we get a little bit more loose, or we get a little bit more personal, a little bit more emotional. Everything is elevated over there, man. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming out and just talking about some old good memories with me, man. I appreciate that shit a lot. Shout out to all of my channel members. I appreciate you guys. Y'all know what it is. Everybody be safe. Before we head out, I want to play one last commercial. I think I'm gonna do the Toys R Us kid. Let's leave on the toy. Let's leave. We're all Toys R Us kids at heart, right? So let's leave on the Toys R Us commercial, man. I appreciate you guys. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. I'll be going live for my channel members in 10 minutes, man. I appreciate you, man. Everybody stay safe. Like I always say, life is short. Try to appreciate it more than you complain about it. Oh, wait. Dino just became a YouTube channel member right before we got out of this, man. He became a channel member, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's get back to it. Like I said, life is short. Try to appreciate it more than you complain about it. Peace.
I don't wanna grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. I don't wanna grow up,
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
they got the best for so much less.
You'll really flip your lid.
Some bikes to trains to video games.
It's the biggest toy store there is. Gee whiz!
I don't wanna grow up, 'cause baby, if I did,
I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid. Once a Toys R Us kid.
always a Toys R Us kid.